Eye to Eye Sports. This is Dorm Room Sports Talk.
Welcome back, everybody. Eye to Eye Sports, giving you another Dorm Room Sports Talk. We're missing Tristan, we're missing Heilman, but the show goes on, right?
Of course.
We're going to be talking a couple topics today. First, we're going to get right into the NBA. The All-Star Draft, it was crazy, had Twitter hyped. We're going to talk about it. Also, we're going to get into the question, Pro Bowl's this week, but it's not being talked about. NBA All-Star Game, that's being talked about. Why is that? Well, we're going to go over it. And also, guys, the Cavs, they have been horrific. What's going on? I feel like we need to talk about that. Then we're going to move in to the MLB. We got Galen back. We're going to go over the biggest offseason move so far. Hasn't been much, but Galen's going to discuss that. And then we're going to move to the NHL, something new. So we're going to go into that. We're going to go to the Golden Knights. Are they the best expansion team ever? We'll see. The Bruins, they're hot. They're looking like one of the best teams. But NHL analysts, they're not very high. They come in at 14-0-4 in their last 14. So they're looking good. And we're also going to go over the Australian Open. And finally, the XFL. So let's get right into it. Let's start. Guys, the All-Star Draft, it was crazy. Give me your takes.
You know, I think I'm in the minority here. I really don't think it was that crazy. I think it would have been crazier had it been televised. I mean, we're talking about an exhibition game in which it basically turns into a dunk contest after 3 minutes. I really don't understand the hype to it. I probably will not watch it, and I imagine I'm not the only one.
I mean, the gameplay isn't ever great, but I think that was what the draft is for, because now there's something else to talk about. I mean, I've been talking about with people, if these guys were on an actual team, if this was a real kind of competitive game, who would be winning, and you can have those conversations now instead of just assuming that no one's going to give a shit.
This was a publicity stunt to make the NBA All-Star Game more people to watch and more people to pay attention, but really in the grand scheme of things, who cares? I mean, it's an exhibition game. It's a scoring showdown, no defense. It's an exhibition game. Who cares?
I care. It's fun.
I care.
It's fun. I get to see Russ and KD. I get to see LeBron and Kyrie on the same team. This is fun.
It's good TV. It's must-watch TV. I think it is must-watch TV. And the fact that I came in thinking everybody would be hyped, and now I'm in the minority. Come on.
I think you're using the term must-watch very liberally here. I mean, All-Star games in general aren't really like great exhibitions of sport. I mean, no one's going to be giving 100%. And additionally, I think that the only potential this draft had to succeed would be had it been televised.
Okay, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
We get that.
I mean, I don't see why you're so excited over it. You don't know the order. You don't know the dynamic or anything.
Well, I know that KD was picked first.
How do you know that?
But it would be better to know, like, it would be.
I don't believe it was confirmed.
Oh, that was confirmed.
By whom?
By LeBron.
It would be better to know.
I must have missed that.
It would be better to know, like, let's say, was Russell Westbrook picked last?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Al Horford was picked last.
I agree. Al Horford was
100%
no
agree.
doubt
The least
who
fun
wanted
player in
that
this
guy.
entire game is
No,
Al Horford.
I agree. I
look,
agree.
the All-Star Game, it's fun. Draft is fun. But in the grand scheme of things, it means nothing.
You know, I think I have some insight.
I totally disagree with that. I think it's
Wait,
great.
you think it means something?
That KD Russ lob, that meant something.
Yeah, I
that
think
warmed
it
my
means
heart.
something. It might not mean something to the fans, but it definitely means something to the players.
I disagree more.
yeah.
Possible.
It means
Have
like,
you seen Twitter this week?
Yeah.
it means much more to the fans than the players.
Okay, stop.
You don't think that Drummond is out there pissed that his 15 and 15 didn't get him an All-Star
Drummond
game?
is pissed, and he should be pissed, along with Lou Williams.
I think he's
but-
more pissed he's not getting a pay raise because of it.
Yeah, and he's upset that he's not getting the award of being an All-Star. He's not upset that he wasn't drafted by somebody.
All right. Let's say, for instance, because I think Kyle Lowry was probably the second to last pick. Let's say that he somehow found out that he was the second to last pick. I think he'd go off in the All-Star game, and I think he'd be sick. I think Kyrie's pissed at LeBron. I think Kyrie's going to go ham. I think Russ is going to be like an absolute monster with KD on this. I think it's going to be – how can you not want to watch that?
I mean, I agree completely. Players are going to go 100% on their off days.
I think they
yeah.
are.
An exhibition game, that means nothing. Players are going to risk injury, play the entire game, send them out there for 48 minutes.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think they're going to come in with an attitude like I have something to prove.
With exception to the Pro Bowl, I think that the NBA All-Star Game is the least entertaining of
All right,
the
well,
sports.
How about they're all junk? I mean,
Well-
who cares? They're all bad.
We differ on that.
I'm a big
But-
baseball All-Star Game guy, but the rest of them.
you
Hockey
speak
hockey
good stuff.
last year.
Hockey's fun, 3-on-3.
If you want, one of the topics is why is no one talking about the Pro Bowl?
Yeah,
no one
so
has
let's-
said anything about
let's
the
go into
NHL
that.
All-Star Game. The NHL All-Star Game, I think, is the best idea. You have 4 different teams, all with All-Stars, and they go head-to-head, and then there's like a championship game. I was so intrigued by that last year, and it was so much fun to watch. I
Never even
really
heard of
don't
that.
see why that doesn't
It's also
pick up.
isn't that 3-on-3?
Yeah,
It
that's
is,
it. It's
which is
3-on-3.
fascinating.
It's the format of an NHL overtime.
Mm-hmm.
You get these world all-star, all-world players playing with so much open space. It's fun, and the John Scott story a couple years ago helped it out.
That was
but
great.
The NHL All-Star Game is better than it used to be, and it's definitely better than the Pro Bowl.
Well,
Without a doubt.
I think that the NBA is having a hostile takeover of the NFL right now. Right in the midst of their Pro Bowl week, they threw in this All-Star draft, and it's blowing
yeah.
up the NFL. There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
press for the Pro
I
Bowl.
agree. I agree.
Their skills challenge was like yesterday, wasn't it? Isn't
Yeah.
it?
it was yesterday.
And the
Who
Pro
cares?
Bowl, too. They're doing that skills thing. I know they're doing like a dodgeball thing.
Already happened, I
I
believe.
like when they
That's junk.
when they
That's
announced
junk.
that, I was so on board. Like just watching quarterbacks tuck dodgeballs, that was gonna be so much fun.
Yeah,
But,
except
like,
then
I
it
forgot
turned
about it.
into Chris Boswell and
Right,
Graham
right, right.
Gano,
Exactly.
two kickers chucking dodgeballs at each other.
Of course.
Yeah.
Kickers are people too.
And
I think-
to be fair, no one knows what a catch is, so it's anyone's guess in
that's
dodgeball. it's anyone's guess.
I
mean,
think we're forgetting that the Pro Bowl was never a big deal. It's not like they've lost any press. It's just stayed zero press. But to answer the question that was originally posed, why does everyone prefer the NBA All-Star Game over the Pro Bowl? Because no one cares about the NBA All-Star Game player-wise. They don't give 100%. But even fewer people care about the NFL Pro Bowl because there's much more potential to get hurt and, as a result, lose a year of playing time or however much money they might lose based on missed games.
I just think it's boring because the object of the game is to tackle someone, and
Yeah.
they barely even tackle
Yeah,
each other.
I mean,
it's touch
bizarre.
football.
Playing,
It's touch football.
playing defense in the NBA is staying in front of someone. Playing defense in the NFL is ripping through guys and hitting people, and they do like the hug tackles. If they stop moving, then the play is over.
I do want to add NFL is king. The NFL Pro Bowl gets about the same ratings as an NBA All-Star Game.
I think that we're
Why
going to
does that
see
make them
change.
king?
Because we're all talking about how bad the Pro Bowl is, except yet the same
I
number
mean-
of people watch an
that
All-Star
true?
game.
The
what the internet
NFL
says.
is far more
Wow.
popular than the NBA, though.
Yeah,
That's
the NFL
true.
is immensely
That's true.
popular.
That's why I think the NBA is having a hostile takeover. They're coming up with all these ideas. They're changing things. They're getting their name in the news, and the NFL is just sitting there hoping the viewers keep coming in.
All right. Well, good stuff. So now we got to do it. We got to trash the Cavs. Who wants to go first?
I think they've lost 6 out of their last 7. Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Not a good look.
I
for them.
think it's like
11 of
out
the
of
last 15 or
15
something.
or
Yeah.
I thought it was like 13.
Talk about a nosedive.
Yeah, not good. Tyronn Lue's changing the starting lineup. He switched out Tristan Thompson with Jay Crowder. I don't think that's going
Has
to do
Tyronn Lue
anything.
ever thought about changing out the head coach?
I don't even know if that's the issue. I think the Cavs.
Hold on. Let me get into the issue. I'll tell you the issue.
I'll say the issue is defense, but thanks
Right.
for interrupting.
Let me get into the issue. The issue is defense, and more importantly, J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith. Let me read you some stats from J.R. Smith. Okay.
Alright.
J.R. Smith this year is shooting 36% from the field. Now, Tyler,
It's not great.
I know you're a terrible shooter.
Hey, chill.
I think you make 36% of your shot. And how about this one, right? So he averages he plays 30 minutes a game, averages 7 points a game. So per 48 minutes, J.R. Smith would average 11.9 points a game, putting him at 264th out of a qualified 282 players.
And doesn't play defense.
And he doesn't. Yeah, the one thing they liked about him last year is he's a great perimeter defender. He's not doing that this year, and he can't score for his life.
Here's
You
what
know-
makes no sense if you're the Cavs. LeBron James is having one of the best statistical seasons of his career.
Not defense-wise.
Far and away the best player in the league this year. Maybe James Harden, but he doesn't do what LeBron does. And the Cavs are just so bad.
Yeah,
They are
LeBron.
they're bad.
You look at them, they are awful.
Yeah.
You watch them play, there's no team togetherness. Tyronn Lue is in over his head. They need a new coach, but you can't just abandon your coach at the All-Star break.
LeBron has as of a few days ago, he has the lowest defensive rating out of anyone who averages 30 minutes per game or more.
To be
in the
fair,
NBA.
he's carrying the team on his back offensively.
But I mean, if you give up as many points on defense, it's not really as valuable.
Can I ask?
Also, you have IT, who's just trash at defense.
What is George Hill gonna do? Who are they gonna give
I
up
don't
and then
know.
put George Hill into this line? It doesn't make any sense.
I'm-
They already have 3 point guards.
I'm actually sick and tired of Cavs players and fans like, we need this guy, we need this guy, we need this guy. You have LeBron James, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Love. You've got a
Wade.
deep bench.
Derrick Rose.
Jeff Green is a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Stop complaining about we need more players. Just do your job. To borrow a line from Bill Belichick, just get it done. You're immensely talented. Figure it out. Stop complaining and go to work.
You said the defense, 109.9 defense rating. That's the worst in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I don't even care if you have Isaiah Thomas. We definitely were not dead last in the defense rating last year with Isaiah Thomas.
Tristan Thompson has a worse defensive rating this year than Isaiah Thomas had last year.
Yeah, that's unacceptable
Wow.
if you.
But they're
expect to be
bringing
at
him
the
into the
top.
starting
Oh
lineup.
yeah, because that's gonna solve everything.
Oh, that closed door meeting, or was it even closed door? I don't know. Where they just
Everyone
called
heard
out
about
Kevin
it.
Love. That was
Yeah.
just that's gonna solve everything.
The closed door meeting with every single player tweeting about it is really effective.
I've always thought that Kevin Love contributed less than everyone thought that he did, and now that they're doing badly, they're looking at him. But he's not the problem. They've won
No.
a championship with him putting in
No.
the same amount of
Yeah.
effort and contribution. I think that this roster is 10 men deep. They have 10 guys that could start on one of the teams in the NBA. That's my
Absolutely.
That's my
You
opinion.
have Korver
Yeah,
on the bench.
I think
Yeah.
he's the 10th man. Kyle Korver, who is I think 4th in all-time threes.
Yeah.
He's still got it.
This-
They need to figure it out.
This team, right, reminds me of the Thunder team last year, where like the only player that could actually do anything it was Russ, but and I think that team was like leagues worse, like not even close.
The difference is that this Cavs team has a couple Hall of Famers, not including their main player,
Yeah.
and they're still playing poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Hall of Famers out of their prime. Dwayne Wade is not
Dwayne
playing
Wade
like a Hall of
plays
Famer.
like 18 minutes and he gets like 15 points. He
no,
should be starting.
yeah, Dwayne Wade's not the problem.
I don't think he should be starting based on how he did in the starting lineup in the beginning of the year.
I mean,
I think he was doing fine.
it's better than JR.
Yeah.
True.
You want me to read you what that JR stat again? That he's
I think I heard it.
265th out of 280 qualifying players. Anyway, we'll move on. MLB, Galen, let's get right to the question.
Alrighty.
Biggest off-season move so far, or maybe there hasn't been much, like we said earlier. What do you think?
Well, I agree. There hasn't really been much going on during the MLB offseason. I mean, I know we talked about before in a previous show about the Giancarlo Stanton acquisition. I'd say at the moment that's probably the biggest off-season deal so far. But right now, I feel like Scott Boras, who represents most of the top free agents on this market right now, has definitely had an influence on the pace of the market. And all the teams have been standing firm. They're not willing to pony up on the offers that have been given to the players want.
I think if we're talking biggest acquisition, there's no doubt it's Giancarlo Stanton, right? It's an NL MVP going to one of the best power hitting teams in the league already and making them even better. If we're just ruling that out because it's too obvious, I think the Giants are looking good. I don't know. I know Longoria and McCutchen are not, and Jackson are not really what they used to be, but they're certainly not scrubs yet. And I think that last year was a fluke because they were missing a few people, injuries, some people just quite out underperforming. The year before, they were the best team in baseball for a while, and they almost took the world champion Cubs to 5 games. I think that we should keep our eyes on them. I think that they're almost certainly going to bounce back.
I'll get to why the Giants are awful in a minute,
All
but
right.
I just want to name these guys that are still available. Yu Darvish, front of the line starting pitcher. J.D. Martinez, Jake Arrieta, former Cy Young winner. Hosmer, Wade Davis, Mike Moustakas.
Davis got signed.
It's a good call.
Embarrassing. Ty.
Good call from That's why he's the baseball expert. I mean, but yeah, I mean, there's teams are not willing to pay big money to guys who are aging, and a lot of the free agents are aging at this point. Now on to the Giants. They have no pitching whatsoever.
They have Bumgarner back.
Oh yeah, he can start 5 days out of 5.
They also have Cueto, Samardzija.
San Francisco is going nowhere. Longoria and McCutchen are all aging stars. San Francisco is going to struggle again this year.
I don't know if I agree.
Can I ask you, why do you think that those 5 top free agents haven't signed yet? Because I have no idea.
I don't either.
Galen, what's going on?
We're pretty deep into the
Yeah, I was thinking like speaking of age and contracts, I think as we've seen throughout I guess the past couple of years or so, when a lot of these free agents that are that just turned 30 or a little over 30 like get these massive contracts, they don't seem to perform to those high expectations. So that's why I feel like now that I know that Scott Boras is an agent that a lot of the players respect because he takes care of them, if you will, by making sure they get what they feel like they deserve. And good for him. I have nothing against him. But now that over time that you see these free agents these guys after signing these big contracts, they don't seem to perform up to expectations, like the whole 9 yards, if you will. And so yeah, that's why I feel like that's definitely been playing a major factor. And how's it been going so far?
Well, I think I'm of the belief here, signing people to a long-term contract should not be avoided. Okay, I'm a Mets fan. They refuse to do that, and it's just infuriating because we'll never win anything.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think if a person plays out for the first 3 years and then is a bum for the rest for 4 years, but you have a world championship, they absolutely panned out. I think that teams are reluctant to go. The Red Sox are big. They didn't want to go after Lester when in his contract year because I think he was 31 at that point, and they weren't sure if he was going to be good. Who cares? You don't have a salary cap in baseball. I know you don't want to spend tons of money, but you got to do what it takes to win. And if these front-of-the-line starters, these top free agents are requiring money, or if they want an extra year, what's it going to do to you?
The issue is if you look at players who are at about 30, you think of even Albert Pujols hasn't performed the way he did in St. Louis. You look at even David Price, C.J. Wilson. There are a lot of players that as they get towards 30, they tail off at the end of their contracts. Jacoby Ellsbury has been a disaster in New York. He's their fourth or fifth outfielder.
Music to my
Teams
ears.
do not want to pay a lot of money and give long-term deals to players that are on the wrong side of 30.
We all got one. I mean, the Grizzlies have Chandler Parsons.
Not the sport we're discussing.
I'm just saying, we all have that guy that we hate.
Go for it, Galen.
Yeah, and speaking of Price, I feel like kind of remains to be seen. I know that the first year, I mean, it was kind of a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
He was productive for the most part, but definitely settling in played a part, and he didn't really like how he was treated. And speaking of Lester, what was unique about him is that he really knew how to survive the Boston media, if you will. And you can see it in Chris Haley has a similar mentality to John Lester. But with David Price, I think now that he's I feel like he's officially settled in with his teammates. And maybe, he got off on the wrong foot with the media, but I think Nada's behind him, and he'll be looking forward to this season.
Before we move on here, I want to take a second. The Brewers, yesterday or today, acquired Christian Yelich. I called that they'd trade him. No big deal.
They got Kane as well.
Also,
Kane,
Lorenzo Kane. Also, McCutchen hit 280 last year, Tyler, and Longoria won a Gold Glove. So certainly not washed up by any.
What was McCutchen's slugging percentage?
Let's take. It's not great. It's not that good. It was 486.
I bet it'll change once he gets over to McCovey Cove. Maybe a change of scenery could play a part in his bounce back.
No, I agree. He's just.
Sandoval's back in San Francisco.
When you say the words Longoria and McCutchen, these are not the MVP caliber players that they once were.
You got a beach ball at third base.
It's true.
A beach ball would hit better, but
Wear belts better.
All right. Guys, good stuff on baseball. Now we're going to move into something that we haven't talked about yet.
NHL.
So, Vegas got a team.
Vegas,
year.
baby.
The Golden Knights. They're looking really, really good. Best in the West. Guys,
Best in the league.
best in the league.
You know, there's a piece by 538. I don't have it handy, explaining why they're the best expansion team ever in any
And that's
sport.
the question.
No doubt.
I don't
doubt.
have the analytical prowess to compare them myself on the fly, but I can tell you through 48 games, the Vegas Golden Knights won 32 of them. The next highest by an expansion team through 84 games, almost twice as much, was 33. So they just
In
need
what
to
sport?
In hockey. That was the Mighty Ducks and the Panthers,
Mighty Ducks.
both in 93, 94 at 33. So they need to win 2 more over the course of, what was that, like 30
Half the-
games?
basically
Yeah,
half the
we're
season.
half-
So,
we're
I
halfway.
mean, they're in a good spot.
They might
Um,
even get a championship, Tim.
They might. I don't know. I really can't explain it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it makes no sense whatsoever. This team has used 5 goalies. They had no more goalies left in the organization. They've got afterthoughts on other teams stepping up. James Neal, always been a great player, but he's never been an MVP player. William Karlsson's got 27 goals. It's not even the All-Star break yet. It doesn't make any sense. Marc-Andre Fleury was a backup goalie in Pittsburgh the last 2 years. He's been one of the best goalies in the league. Vegas is dominant on home ice. They're like 18-2. It makes no sense. Somehow Vegas keeps winning. Will it last? I got to say yes.
and you know, I think that the NHL, and we could just, based on what we've talked about on this podcast so far, the NHL is far and away the least popular of the 4 major sports.
Right.
I think that
But the
need
league
this.
with the most parity, and that matters
league with
for
the most
something.
parity. I think that this Golden Knights team is very exciting. Before this year, I don't think I've watched an NHL game in like years. I've watched more than a few of these Golden Knights games. It's good for the sport. It's very interesting and it's very fun to watch.
And that's what matters about the NHL. The NHL is different as in it's not massive nationally, but in cities, especially Boston, it's huge in certain places. In Vegas, you've got a team that was expected to do nothing, except because of the parity, because of the fact that they can be one of the best teams in the league. Fans are showing up. Vegas is crazy for hockey.
I was going to say, that's one of the most impressive things is that their attendance, they're in like the top 5 for attendance. I think that's good for hockey.
Mm-hmm.
That's good for guys like us that are just trying to talk this stuff. I mean, and it's good for the NHL.
I just think, imagine something in the NFL where an expansion team is going head-to-head with the Patriots. It's
Yeah.
impossible. Wouldn't make any sense. But the NHL has got by far the most parity. The Predators were the 8th seed. They went to the final last year. This team is full of a bunch of bums. I shouldn't say bums because they're playing ridiculously, but full of a bunch.
No names.
Yeah, a bunch of, not even no names, but a bunch of second-tier NHL players
yes.
who are now somehow the best team in the league.
Well, I like it. I think it's good stuff. So, Ty, we're in the middle of the Australian Open. Just want to give us a little analysis on that.
Your boy Roger Federer is one of the greatest athletes of all time. 36 years old. He'll play in the final this weekend in Australia. He's got Marin Cilic, who is the 2014 U.S. Open champion. But what Roger Federer is doing at age 36 is comparable to what Tom Brady's doing at 40. He's going to be the oldest major champion because he's going to beat Cilic. He beat him in the Wimbledon final last year. On the women's side, it's Simona Halep, Caroline Wozniacki, 2 really good players, both been to major finals, looking for their first title. So the Australian Open, it's on at odd times, but a lot of good action, 2 really good finals, someone going for their first, and Roger Federer going for his 20th major championship.
Good luck to Caroline Wojnarowski.
Wozniacki.
Adrian Wojnarowski.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, we got one more topic, boys, on the board. The XFL. What the hell is this story? 2020, the XFL, the failed league that came out in 2001, they're back.
They're going to fail again.
Can I just say, I love it. I'm so excited to watch the XFL. I like big hits.
What?
I like big hits, and I cannot lie. Everyone is upset in the NFL right
I like
now.
big hits and cannot lie. I
Thank
see what
you.
you did there.
Everyone's getting upset over the politics, everything going on, the kneeling, all the stuff. I don't care about any of that. I want less penalties. I want big hits. I want just fun football.
Someone's
I
going to
think
die on the field.
I think the fact that you are so excited is proof that you were born in 1999 or 1998. The league was started in 2001. It was not good football. This was not anywhere
Bet-
close
no, whoa, whoa,
to
whoa,
the
whoa, whoa,
NCAA.
whoa. There
I
was
watched
the
I
quality-
watched the 30 for 30. It wasn't good football, but the NFL
It
right
wasn't
now,
terrible
The
football.
quality was terrible football. The quality was
Who was
so
the
far and away worse than the
yeah,
NFL.
but they throw like laterals a lot. It was kind of cool.
Okay, it was kind of
That-
cool, but that
All right.
dies after
it's
1 week.
interesting football.
You've got a game of backyard football with a bunch of bums. Johnny Manziel, I don't care how much you love the guy. The guy is a bad football player.
He can't-
I do not want to see him play in the XFL. And big hits, guys are going to get their brains blown
Vince
up.
McMahon said that they're going to be
Tommy
more.
Maddox a bum? Because Tommy Maddox is an XFL champion and a Super Bowl champion.
Who is Tommy Maddox?
He won a championship with the Steelers. He came from the XFL.
As what, a third-string punter?
He was their quarterback.
He was not their championship-winning quarterback.
I'm
He
pretty
was not
sure.
their starter. That would have been Ben Roethlisberger.
I'm not sure there's going to be as many big
What
hits.
year did he win a Super Bowl? XL. That was Ben Roethlisberger.
That was a
a
good try,
backup.
Dylan, though.
You got
Uh,
a ring. NFL Comeback Player of the Year, 2002.
XFL MVP.
NFL
Well,
Comeback
he
Player
was
of the
the
Year.
XFL
Who
MVP.
And
cares?
he's got an XFL
And what
ring.
cities is this going to be in to be successful?
Major
Major cities already have their own NFL teams.
Put a
Bring
team
him
to
to-
Connecticut.
But how about
Oh my
Providence?
God.
Bring him to
Hartford.
Providence. We'll take him.
I'd rather watch the Arena League.
Look, no
That's
team
a
in this
stretch.
league
I'd-
can be a bigger joke than this team right here, okay? I can finally watch a different version of football where I can start over, I can pick the best team.
I mean,
and I'm
you
excited.
understand we would be watching players worse than players on the Cleveland Browns.
Not all of us get to watch our favorite team win a Super Bowl every year. I get to
Well-
start out fresh with a new team.
Hold on.
if this is not even going to pay as much as the Canadian Football League, these are going to be a bunch of bums.
Well,
If there's less penalties, if a catch is a catch, then I'm going to be excited to watch football.
This is going to be a 35-year-old fat, overweight father trying to play football.
I saw this online, and I think that this is going to be the secret. They're going to need to do what LeVar Ball is trying to do with the basketball equivalent, which is you don't go after the people who failed in the NFL. You don't go after the people who are 30 or
bring
mid-20s
T.O.
above.
back.
You compete with people who don't want to go to college. You say, we'll pay you.
Right.
You come here. This is going to be an alternative to college. The NFL scouts watch. If it lasts long enough that a few people can get drafted out of there, that would be unreal for the league.
But by the way, there's going to be less penalties. You're going to put your life on the line, so you really
I
can't
don't
play
know.
the
Vince
NFL.
McMahon said that they're going to be much more concerned with player safety. No more of this. I have a pulse, so I'm going to play. I mean,
I like the way Tim looked at it. We're not saying this is going to take over the NFL, but this can do good. If a college guy or a guy out of high school comes up and says, "Well, I just want to get paid," and that's probably the mentality of a good amount of kids out of high school. If I'm good enough for football and I can get paid, why not get paid?
right.
So I think that is something that we have to look at, because if they can take guys like this, and this could be kind of like an NFL prep league, that could lead.
If there's a serious idea for an NFL prep league, that's worth discussing. But the XFL is not that type of league.
This is like get CTE before you even
Yeah.
start playing in the NFL.
They,
but
the
I think
NFL
it's-
tried an experimental football league for second-tier players, and about 3 people showed up. I mean, it was a disaster, and no one wants to see a bunch of backup college quarterbacks playing on small fields in the middle of nowhere.
But the XFL actually did get good rating or
For
crowds.
1 week.
They also ran out of money very quickly, which is what's going to happen to them again, because the NFL is not going to let them sign on with a major network.
Fair enough. By the way, Tommy Maddox, 2002 starting quarterback, 10-5-1. 10-5-1.
It's better than the Dolphins this
Jay
year.
Cutler went 6-10.
All right,
Jay
well,
Cutler beat Tom Brady.
Kurt Warner was a Hall of Famer who was in the Arena League. We're not saying they're not good players in this league, but the league is not going to survive.
I just need a break from the NFL. There's been too much talking and not enough football. I'm excited for football.
Well, actually, in your case, that would be too much losing.
same
that's
difference.
true.
I think, and while we're on the subject, there's a rule that, like, if you have a criminal record,
Yeah, so
you
your
can't
Johnny
play.
Manziel tape's
That's going to
gone.
drop the talent pool significantly, okay? The amount of, like, I don't want to, stereotype anyone, but the amount of people in the NFL with
I think we're
criminal
already at that
records
point.
are
So
fascinatingly high.
shut his mic off.
I mean, that's going to dilute the talent pool itself.
I'll play.
I'll play.
All right, there we go.
I'll take CTE for a year. All right, guys. Well, Another DRST on the board. Obviously, we were down Tristan. We were down Heilman. But
Not really missing much without Heilman.
that's
I'll
true.
say that.
Just a shout out. First on-camera podcast. Thanks to our tech guy, Clay, over there. Clay, welcome to the team.
Clayton.
Clay. All right, fellas. Dorm Room Sports Talk. We outie.
Adios.